I would like to share with you the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. As you know, habits are like a double-edged sword. Current habits can lead you to a better life, but they can also make you go backwards over the years. It's not a big deal to say that if you can control your habits, you can also control your life. So let's take a look back at ourselves. Are you making progress every day? Or are you the same this year as you were last year? Some books talk about forming habits from a psychological perspective or summarize them with practical technical tips. But the book Atomic Habits is new in that it presents a way. The author's communication is argued closely and practically, and it is more concise. Especially, the most important core value that I see is that the author tells us something very important: changing yourself is changing your own identity. Instead of controlling yourself by willpower to be able to maintain a habit, it is better to change from the inside out. Chapter 1. Live like a bamboo pole. The famous American psychologist William James once said, "Sow an action, and you reap a habit. Sow a habit, and you reap character. Sow character, and you reap destiny." Good habits will make your life. But many times we often turn a blind eye to small changes because we convince ourselves that great success requires large-scale action. So many people always ignore the value of small improvements every day. And because of that we hesitate over and over again. Another fatal blow is that we often lose our perseverance because we do not fully understand the huge potential value that comes from small changes. Yet these small things are also a way for us to create compound interest. In the book, there is a formula mentioned as follows: if you can improve 1% every day for a year, you can progress 37 times. On the contrary, if you regress by 1% every day for a year, your current ability will decrease to almost zero. Many people think that this is mechanical magic, but I hope you will leave it there for now and verify this formula yourself when you have not yet started and changed everything. Concluding too soon can only be an excuse. Chapter 2. If you only aim at the goal, you will fail. If you only look at the results that you want mentally, it is no different than locking yourself into a narrow perspective. All the potential in any goal contains an illusion. Once I achieve the goal, I will be happy. This perspective is like a chain. It makes you delay joy until you achieve the goal, and then you will be happy. But when you achieve it, you certainly will not be truly happy. Sometimes instead there is a strange feeling of disappointment. At that time you are already hoping for the next milestone. When staring at a specific goal, the motivation in you will be, "I must achieve it," and this motivation will push you forward. But once you have reached the destination, this fire of motivation in you will also disappear. That is why many people fall back into old habits. When completing the set goal, you need to remember that implementing habits is not aimed at the goal to win by all means, but to build a system of habits with a common cycle gradually and continuously. So how do you build a system of habits? The best way to maintain the spirit should be to focus on the process and on the present. Right now, you do not need to save happiness nor assume a successful scenario to make yourself feel satisfied. You will not have to wait to allow yourself to be happy. You can be truly happy right now and during the process of maintaining that habit. Certainly, this mindset will make it easier for you to persevere. Chapter 3. The secret to maintaining a habit is to know your identity. According to research, behind every system of action is a system of beliefs. And behaviors that are not consistent with identity will not last long. What does this mean? You have to pay attention to the words identity and beliefs. Your beliefs and identity have great significance for the behavioral changes you make. Before you want to do anything, let your beliefs become aligned with the person you want to be. That is, before performing a habit, you must determine what kind of person you want to become. Who your beliefs are will determine your behavior. The stronger the belief, the more persistently the behavior will be repeated. The more the behavior is repeated, the more the belief will continue to be reinforced. The identity will become clearer. Here is a sustainable and long-term development cycle that allows you to constantly develop and will lead you to do things that can change your destiny. An example is that if you want to maintain the habit of jogging, you need to define your identity as an athlete. When you want to read more, to write books or create content, you must consider yourself a creative person. If you do not know yourself clearly before taking action, you will only be able to act inconsistently. So, in the process of doing it, you will always feel it is difficult. So remember that habits are a way to express who you are. First, you must know what kind of person you want to become. Then, with the belief that you are that person, you can establish a system of habits that creates a happy life and develops you. From this perspective, let's think a little backwards and realize that we must stop labeling ourselves or others. For example, parents always want their children to study hard and be self-disciplined. When they see them sitting, watching TV, or playing, they immediately yell, "Why are you so lazy to study?" The labels I want to talk about here, such as lazy, careless, or playful, will be like a prophecy. If you keep labeling them over and over again, the labels can come back and become a reality. Chapter 4. The basic logic of forming a habit. We need to clearly understand how a habit operates before taking action. This is not just a point of knowledge, it helps you find the root cause of the nature of habits. If you do not understand this, you will forever be stuck trying to do it. So specifically, what are the 4 steps? They are cue, craving, response, and reward. We will learn these 4 steps to maintain a habit. The first step is to make it obvious. In fact, vision is the strongest sense. It accounts for a large share of the total ability of all sensations in the body. If you can take full advantage of visual cues, you can successfully implement the cue stage of your habit. For example, if you want to develop a habit of reading books but books are always piled up in the corner of the room and you only see them when you need them, how can you develop this habit? The way to make a habit an essential part of life is to make it appear before your eyes regularly. Put books in visible and easily accessible places, such as on the sofa, on the TV shelf, on the bedside table, or on the study table bookshelf, places closest to eye level. I also often carry a small book in my backpack so whenever I have free time I can conveniently open it to read. This principle is similar to when you want to change bad habits. You have to eliminate the triggers that activate them. For example, in the afternoon you may feel like snacking, especially if you work in an office. Instead of buying rice crackers, fatty candy, or milk tea, you should put nutritious fruits and nuts in places where you can easily see and reach them. You can both supplement energy and maintain your figure and health. If you no longer see snacks, or it is not easy to sit at the table to play games, or it is not easy to use addictive applications that waste time, then when there is no clear and regular reminder, the behavior will certainly not be easily activated. From there, your bad habits will gradually be eliminated. The second step is to make it attractive. Here, there is a very important strategy that can motivate you to perform a good habit, stack habits and integrate them with your interests. For example, after taking off my work clothes, I will put on my sneakers and go to the gym. After drinking a cup of coffee, I will read a book for an hour. And so on. Integrating interests means that for a habit you pair it with a habit you want. In psychology, this is also called temptation bundling. It is the result of research by Professor David R. H. Rimas. Note: the correct spelling and attribution may vary. Which means using high-frequency behaviors to reinforce low-frequency behaviors. With this method, you will make the practice of habits more attractive. Now we come to step number 3. The third step of changing habits is to make things easy to do. The biggest principle here is to reduce the difficulty. For example, if you want to maintain your gym habit, don't compare which gym is cheaper, which one has more equipment, or which one has better background. Go to the gym that is closest to your home where you can easily go to work out first. Reduce your resistance to action by optimizing your environment. In addition, you should follow the 2-minute rule from the first days of implementing the habit. You need to know that in life, there are always a few decisive moments that will also make a big difference. The moment you decide to cook or order out, the moment you decide to cycle or drive to work, the moment you decide to surf the web. A good conversation or reading a book is not far away. These moments are the turning points of your life. They determine a good or bad day, which often depends on the chain of these decisive moments. If you can accumulate more and more right moments in the day, then in the end they will lead you to a completely different result. So the author advised us that when starting a new habit it should not take more than 2 minutes. To avoid the fact that you can hardly persevere, instead of forcing yourself to read a book every night before going to bed, you should read 1 or 2 pages. The meaning of this 2-minute rule is that no matter what, you must let yourself take the first small step. Maintaining a habit is really difficult, but if starting is easy, then the next action will happen. Small, humble actions are actually very powerful. You have to believe one thing: once you start doing the right things, everything will become much easier. Conversely, if you want to get rid of bad habits, you have to create obstacles to those bad habits. If you can't stop watching your phone, then remove all the apps that waste your time. If you can't stop playing games, then make it difficult for you to open a game. The last step of changing a habit is to make it satisfying. We have to understand that the reason why bad habits are so difficult to overcome is that they always provide us with a feeling of instant gratification. When playing games, you can achieve achievements when overcoming levels, or eating sweets will temporarily satisfy your taste. One effective way to increase instant gratification for good habits is to regularly track them in a very simple way. Spend an hour to track your habits and stick the tracker on the wall where you can see it, marking it as completed every time you successfully act on the habit. It is simple, but in essence it is a process of rewarding the spirit. It will help you to constantly progress. Here, there are 2 things that I want to emphasize to everyone. Firstly, persevere rather than give up. That is, no matter what, don't give up, because only by persevering do you have the opportunity to keep your identity. Remember that giving up twice in a row means you start a bad habit. Secondly, don't let the measure become your goal. When the measure becomes the goal, it will no longer be a good measure. Don't live to track, and don't live just to focus on the goal. Above are all 4 essential steps to form good habits and eliminate bad habits. In general, the video summarizing the book here is quite complete, but I still want to send you equally important reminders that I have concluded after reading this book. Thank you for listening. If you find this video useful, please share it with those who need it and support me with a like. Don't forget to write down your feelings or thoughts in the comments below so everyone can learn together. Don't forget to press the follow button and open the notification bell to watch my latest weekly videos again. Thank you. See you again in the next videos.